What does this mean to you?
It just means I'm part of the greatest team in 2019. These guys, they battled, it didn't matter. It was stay in the fight, that was our model. It was the next guy up. Whoever, everybody gave their all. Whoever was always going to produce. And we took it all the way and we won the whole thing.
You went 5 innings, you had base runners every inning.
Right.
How did you get through it just allowing 2 runs?
Just stay tough. They're a great team, great offense. Never burn me. Just try and make pitches. Stay with Jan. Trust your instincts and just compete. Lay it on the line. Just whatever you gotta do. Greg did a heck of a job tonight of working quick and I was just gassed. But hey, you gotta give it whatever you got.
How did you feel physically? Was it a risk to pitch?
No, I was physically good. The cortisone shot worked. The adjustments worked, so I felt good.
What is it about this team, Max? What makes it so special?
1 through 25, everybody. That's the only way I can describe it. The energy, the camaraderie, the belief in one another. It doesn't matter. Everybody just believes in each other.
Congratulations,
Thank
Max.
you.
Enjoy. Joe, back to you.
Max Scherzer is intense in post-game interviews, and rightly so. It's his first World Series victory as part of that Tigers team in 2012 that got swept by San Francisco. The only game that was really close was Game 1 in Houston, and then afterward, the scores were somewhat sizable, and the most intriguing part remains that Washington won the first 2 in Houston, then they went to Washington, Houston won all 3, then they came back to Houston, and Washington won the final 2, and you said during that final out that you were absolutely stunned with what we've witnessed.
I'm stunned because the last 2 nights I sat here and gave you reasons why the Houston Astros were going to win these last 2 games, and they didn't win either one of them. How dare I speak against the Washington Nationals like that? It's unbelievable what they did. It's unbelievable where they came from. And I think what Max Scherzer said right there struck me. He said 1 to 25. And I think the best team won this World Series. A lot of teams have stars. They have individual stars. But this team, it seemed like it seems like a month ago we were talking about Howie Kendrick walking off the Dodgers or a big grand slam, and it was just different. They have their stars. But as Max said, 1 to 25, they have the superstars in the rotation. But then look at Corbin tonight, who is one of their stars, very highly paid. But he comes out of the bullpen with 3 shutout innings. There's a formula to win this thing, and they followed it beautifully.
And if there's anybody that doesn't believe that Washington is the best team in baseball right now, they went through the Dodgers, who were favored to come out of the National League. They just beat the Astros, who had the most wins in baseball. So this team right here, and I'll stress it again, it's a team. This is guys caring about each other. This is guys playing for each other. This is guys, picking each other up when they're down. I mean, everything. They were down in this game. They never stopped believing in themselves. It's so fun when you're able to be a part of a team like this, where everyone just is as happy for the success of the person next to them as they are for themselves. And this team really showed that to me. It didn't matter who got the credit, who was successful, whoever got it done. Everybody on the bench and everybody in that clubhouse was as happy for each other as they were for themselves.
And it's remarkable when we see Davey Martinez there. A lot of rumors that his job was on the line, certainly back in May.
They were.
And they were on the line, and he was as good as fired because of the start that this team got off to. So credit to him, and I don't know how you do it. I'm not sure how managers do it in this game, but somehow he was able to keep everybody together enough. And sure, it's a good narrative now because they've won the World Series, and we can reflect back. But that season could have gone sideways in a hurry. Somehow he kept it together. We keep hearing quotes from all of these players, and it seems to be a resounding theme of how they're a family. And we usually hear that after championships, but when you watch these guys, you kind of believe them. I kind of believe it. Anytime I've seen Doolittle interviewed, and some of the guys that maybe aren't the superstars, but key pieces, they all seem to have that same thing that convinced me that they're telling me the truth.
And I think after the start they got off to, if you have a young team, if you don't have this oldest team in baseball, if you don't have those veterans in your clubhouse, this team probably goes away. They end up firing their manager and everything goes sideways, and they end up not being in the postseason and not winning the World Series like they are. But because they had the experience to rely on and also the starting pitching on top of it, really that was a difference maker. But having those veteran guys that are there, that have been there, that made such a difference for them.
And let's not kid ourselves, tons of talent. You need a lot of talent to win a championship. But reflect back to last night, that Anthony Rendon home run, after all of the nonsense, then the controversy that was happening. And you talk about veterans and age and experience, and he steps up in a big way after all that went on, and still even post-game. He's still game facing as if, just went about my job.
It's a young man's game, and Juan Soto might be the beacon of the youth movement at this point, but as you mentioned, the oldest team Series, veterans like Cabrera and Howie Kendrick and Ryan Zimmerman, who was the Nationals' first draft choice. It's incredible.
It's a fantastic story. This is, I mean, you have to be happy for these guys. No matter who you're a fan of, you have to have watched this game, watched this team play, and see everything that they did to get to this point. If it doesn't make you smile, then you're not really truly a baseball fan, because this was amazing.
Remember a couple of days ago, we were talking about the top of this Nats order. They need to do more. Turner and Eaton at the top need to get on base for the big boys. Well, what they do the last two games? They made an impact at the top of the order and set it up for those big boys, and the rest took care of them.
Makes the guy want to come out of retirement. Back we go to Houston as they get set to present the trophy to the World Series champions.